don't like to think about writing books about issues. I like to write books about people, but people do have issues. And sometimes, often, I guess, the characters do come with their own issues. When I was writing Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, you know, I didn't know everything. I mean, for me, the one thing I like about writing, maybe the only thing I like about writing, I like the surprise of it. I'm a writer who knows where she's starting, and I know where I think I'm going, but I don't know anything that's going to happen in between. And that's scary when you think about it, but I trust now that my characters will take me on this journey, and I'll follow them on this journey. And certainly with Margaret, I knew that I wanted to write about puberty. I knew that I wanted to write about religion. It's hard to remember because it was a very long time ago. And Margaret was certainly close to my own experiences in 6th grade. You know, when I wrote, I was young when I wrote that book, and the child I was still right there. You know, you didn't have to dig very deep. She was right there. I identified completely with Margaret. I did a lot of the things that Margaret does. I talked to God as confidant. You know, God and I had a lot of discussions about puberty because nobody else was talking to me about it. And maybe I liked it that way. You know, my mother certainly never talked to me about anything personal, any issues of puberty or growing up. My father would, but it was so strange when he did. I mean, I once asked what was wrong with my cousin. I think I was 9, and my cousin said to me, "You'll find out when you're 13." And all the way home in the car, and it was a long trip home, I kept saying, what will I find out? I was so curious. What will I find out when I was 13? What was Gracie telling me? And when we got home, my mother said to my father, "You tell her." Oh, my father was a dentist. Maybe my mother felt, you know, he had been to almost medical school, and so he knew how to tell these things. And what he told me was such an odd story. And what I came away with was when the moon was full, I know it was about a lunar cycle, but I didn't know anything about a lunar cycle. When the moon was full, this thing would happen to women all over the world at the same time. I got this feeling that, you know, all women, when the moon was full, they would have their periods. And this is what Gracie had. And when I was 13, it would happen to me. Well, it didn't. I mean, I was 14, over 14 when it finally did. And I learned by that time that my mother was 16. So, and I guess eventually I learned about these 28-day lunar cycles, but it made no sense to me when my father told me this story. It was a nice story, but I didn't get it. I expected to hear werewolves, "Hoo!" and the moon would be full, and this wonderful thing would happen that I wanted to happen. I wanted to grow up. I mean, the fantasy of children is growing up, and what will it be like? And I was very anxious.